This is Colleen Spees coming to you live from the beautiful Waterman Farms at The Ohio State University. I just want to show you before we get started this beautiful place that I get to call my living laboratory and get to spend a lot of time at. And then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my career path and how I got to where I am today, some of the lessons learned along the way, and some of the advice I would give to new and up-and-coming dietitians. So let me see if I can turn this camera around. It's a little bright out here, as you can imagine. It's a beautiful day in Ohio. Okay. So I can't veer too far from the building because of Wi-Fi access, but I still wanted you to see Waterman Farm is a 260-acre farm located in straight along the distance. You can see downtown Columbus, Ohio. I turn it this way maybe. And then to the left is, it's telling me to rotate my phone again, sorry. And then to the left over here, you can see some towers and you can see the OSU Stadium in the background. So we're one of the land-grant universities here that truly does crop to clinic to community, and for me, I say back to cell research. And those buildings in the background are the medical center right that close on the bus line. And you can see the new James, and there'll be a new hospital being built there too. And over on this, to the right of that then is downtown Columbus. Let me see if I can flip it back. Okay, I think that went well. All right, so let me talk about how I got there. So I obtained my undergrad at Ohio State in the coordinated undergraduate program in medical dietetics. And during that time, I just had, a fabulous experience. But all along the way, every single thing that I did that was related to nutrition, I kept bringing back to modifiable lifestyle behaviors and physical activity and sleep and stress and those types of things. So I felt so incredibly, passionate about that I really started to, even before I graduated, think I need to go on and get a master's degree in something related, but not the same as just nutrition again. So I went to Vanderbilt University, and I will say I was one of many, many GRAs who applied for the job and at Vanderbilt, and I singly got this GRA that paid my complete tuition for my master's and stipend because I was a dietitian. I was the only dietitian that applied for the GRA, and this was under the mentor Jim Hill, who most of you might you of the younger group might know more about his body of work. He's at Colorado now, but his body of work included the National Weight Loss Registry, Colorado, the 10,000 steps, and those types of things. And I always said that he single-handedly, I believe, kept Colorado the light color on the obesity maps for the longest times. And he really does, and still does, a lot of obesity research. So that was a great experience. And there I served as a bionutritionist at the Clinical Research Center. So that's one thing, a lessons learned, is to always be open to new possibilities and learning new things. And then after that, I always say life happened. This is where, I got married. I moved around mostly with my husband's job. But this was one of the things about nutrition that I love so much in the field of dietetics, is that wherever I went, I could always find a job, if it was part-time, remote, full-time, or whatever. The field of dietetics affords us those opportunities to where we can really have life experiences, and it can fit within our life. It's a profession that can fit within your life and your life stages, which I truly have always appreciated. And it's, I believe, still one of the few professions that you're able to do that. And so along that life experience, I ended up having 3 children within 5 years. And again, moving a few different places, but kept dietetics something always, even in the midst of moving and finding new homes and all that. I always was able to keep something on my resume, and that really just kept me learning, and I so appreciated that. Moving ahead, I ended up back in Columbus, Ohio, with my husband's work. This was about 20 years ago now. And at that time, I really decided I wanted to get into some teaching because I missed academia. So I applied for a job at Columbus State Community College, and I had never taught at the college level, but I thought, you know what, I'm willing to learn. And I not only sent my resume, but I went down and met with a few folks. And I also in Columbus participated in the local dietetics organization, and I met folks there, and I got to put names with faces, and in turn they got to put names with faces as well. And so when they had an opening, it was in teaching in the evenings 2 nights a week, and this was very challenging for me with 3 children under the age of 5, and teaching in the evenings, and my husband working long hours. But you know what, I saw it as an opportunity. And again, a lesson learned is, I think when a door opens and you want to be in that room, you just need to grab it what you can and get your foot in the door. And so I did that, and it was very difficult with juggling with the kids, but I loved it, and they were so supportive of everything. So what happened was then they wanted somebody to create an online course, and again, this was 20 years ago, and they didn't have one at the time. And I thought, you know what, why not me? I can learn this. Nobody else jumped at it, so I thought this would be a really perfect opportunity to where I could work my hours around my children and still be teaching, at least for those few years. So I grabbed that. I learned a lot. It was a lot of work, but so well worth it. And I ended up becoming the lead instructor down there, and there was probably 7 other instructors sort of under me at that point, where I was doing the online course, and I was the lead for that online course. Again, a great experience. So I was doing that, again, having a great life. And in about 2006, my sister, who was 41 at the time, got diagnosed with breast cancer. And one of the beautiful things about being near a comprehensive cancer center is you have a lot of great facilities, and she also lived in Columbus. And so they immediately put her in for genetic testing, and they were looking for probably BRCA. And I had already lost a brother at the age of 15 to lymphosarcoma. And so a lot of cousins, aunts, and uncles also had cancers. And we just thought we were a family with bad luck, and just had a lot of cancer, and it wasn't a single type of cancer. So once my sister got to OSU Genetics, and a wonderful geneticist who specialized in oncology met with her and did a pedigree, she saw that we had an autosomal dominant mutation pattern, and because of all the variation of the different types of cancer, she suspected Lee-Fermini syndrome, which is a mutation on the TP53 gene, which encodes for P53, which most folks know as a tumor suppressor gene. And so she ended up, we all were tested. In fact, she did have it. Another brother of mine, an older brother, was found to have the mutation, and he had not yet been affected by cancer. And since that time, he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer and T-cell lymphoma. My sister's had about 20 surgeries herself and is doing well. I was negative, but it really changed me both personally and professionally, because, you know, I felt so compelled that lifestyle modifications might be able to delay the onset of cancers. Sorry, I'm saying we just had a truck full of my staff come up. So I'm on a Facebook Live, guys. Hi. They're giving me thumbs up. So I just felt so professionally and personally changed by this, and the fact that I was negative and they were positive, I just felt there had to be something we could do as a health professional to delay the onset of cancer, to help them get through treatment, to improve their prognosis, whatever that would be. So in my 40s, never say never, I decided to go back and get my PhD and study at the bench nutritional genomics and this particular mutation. And that's exactly what I did. I won't say it was easy, but to me at that point, again, professionally and personally, it was necessary. So that led me to a great appreciation and understanding of translational research. And a lot of dietitians are trained, of course, in clinical research and community-based research, but I still feel like we do a disservice by not providing more experiences that are related to bench science, because to truly talk the talk, we have to be able to translate it to clients and patients and individuals and even communities and sometimes our aunts and uncles, right? So it was a great experience. I now teach at the college level, the graduate course, a nutritional genomics class that is specific to dietitians. I believe it might still be the only one in the nation that's specific to what a dietitian needs, and it's a fantastic learning opportunity for me too, and another benefit of being in a land-grant university, because I can pull in experts to come present in these classes on everything from the genetic and genomics of food all the way to mirroring models and animal models to clinical trials and community-based and disparities and genomics. So it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So that is kind of where I came with the career trajectory, but you never stop learning, and that's what I really love about academia as well, is it affords me the opportunity when I bring these experts in to talk to my class about areas outside of oncology that I know, and we're relating the latest evidence-based literature and research, and we're just delving into all of that. Again, it helps me to learn, and I love that. But again, it didn't stop there. So never say never. I then embarked on how can I be better about influencing our profession and advocating for our profession. And I felt strongly about this, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. And just about that time, I was approached by a mentor of mine who was on my dissertation committee and was also one of the and original authors of the Wardlaw Contemporary Nutrition textbooks. And I recall when I taught undergraduates years back that I would always love to ask the dietitians and the students to go around the room and then introduce themselves and actually ask them how they got in the field and what propelled them or really motivated them to go into dietetics. And so many of them told me that Ann Smith, who was the instructor of the course at the time where she, also co-authored the textbook, really, they learned to love nutrition. And I thought, what a great way, and not that I'm saying everyone needs to author a textbook, but what a blessing for me that she invited me a few years back to join her in helping to co-author this textbook, along with another wonderful co-author, Angela Colleen. So I'm going to try to show you the picture here, if I can, flip the phone again, of this textbook, because you might recognize it from the Waterman Farm. So at the end, if I have enough Wi-Fi to get over there, I'll actually show you this silo where the picture was taken. And this was taken by Associate Professor Mary John Ludy, who's at Bowling Green State University. So even dietitians can be beautiful photographers as well. And so the reason I'm bringing up this textbook is because now it affords me the opportunity to help promote our profession in a different way. It's for non-majors, so it's for science students deciding where they want to go. And in it, I will tell you, we now state throughout the textbook that dietitians are the nutrition expert. And I want all professions in the science, even if they go on to medicine or nursing or something, to resonate and them to read it over and over and over again in this textbook. The other thing that is a spoiler here, but our new book will be out in January, and we have guest contributors to that book. And Leah, I'm sure Leah's on here somewhere. Hi, Leah, who invited me to do this event, this live Facebook Live today, actually contributed a section on the evidence behind genetically modified crops. So, and we have other contributors as well, but it just is fantastic that we can help to get the message out that evidence-based nutrition is so critically important, and we can get that message out even to non-majors of nutrition. And I think that is incredibly important, at least for me at this point in my career. So I've mentioned a couple things about the lessons learned already, but one of the things is always keep your eyes wide open. And what I mean by that is so many students come in to our profession, and again, I ask them why they're there and what brought them to dietetics. And many have these preconceived notions that I want to be this, I'm going to graduate and do this. And I love that they have a focus and something brought them there. But I will tell you, I was always asked in interviews, what would you do? What do you think you'll be doing 5 years from now? And I honestly don't think I ever did in 5 years what I actually at that time thought I would. And that's not a bad thing. It could be a challenging thing, but it's not a terrible thing to keep your eyes open and to see when little doors are cracked along the way and maybe explore a little bit and see if that might be something you're interested in. Because so many times, things I never conceived I might be doing, I'm now doing. And again, it's a joy and a blessing. And I think I'm a better practitioner and professional because of it, quite frankly. So take those risks. Don't be afraid of that. And get wonderful mentors along the way. That's another thing. And you have to seek out mentors. Sometimes they'll come to you, or sometimes you'll be assigned a mentor. But you really want a mentor that works for you and that challenges you to grow, to stretch beyond your wildest dreams, to push you to new limits. And that's important. I know sometimes it's about graduating, and I get that too. And that's okay. And we have great practitioners out there, and we need the boots on the ground clinicians. And I have the most respect for the boots on the ground clinicians, right? But sometimes I feel like we get into and maybe because it's life stages, it's okay as well, but we get into a place where we just aren't pushing ourselves to read the next thing or do the next thing or push that limit. And this is where not only can mentors perhaps be at your academic institutions or even in your clinical practice, say if you have a group of people, but mentors are also found on social media now. And I really, really encourage everyone, clearly everyone watching this has found the Build Up Dietitians group, and what a wonderful way to utilize social media in this world of noise and chaos and misinformation, that really we can have a group that is saying, no, stay in your lane, keep your eye focused, but let us share with you what is the evidence-based clinical practice. And one thing I tell all of our students, and have for years, is that whenever somebody asks you about your opinion on anything, be it keto or supplements or organic crops or whatever it is, as opposed to I think coming out of your mouth, the 3 words that always should come out of your mouth before any others, even for those of you preparing for defenses this year, should be the evidence shows. And what our responsibility is as a profession to promote evidence-based clinical guidelines that are tried and true. It is fantastic to watch current and upcoming and new literature, but it is not our job to make those recommendations before they have been assessed and graded and really judged and come out like in a systematic lit review or by an organization that's trustworthy. So we have to be very careful, because every time we do the I think this, despite what you do at home, that's okay what you do at home. But your job in our profession is only to talk about what we know to be true. And I clearly can't emphasize that enough. And I know I'm singing to the choir with the folks watching today, but it is important. And it's also so important to align on social media with the evidence-based folks. And they're also the ones that I appreciate, because it's difficult to keep up with everything. in this fast-moving world. And I love how you can scroll through Twitter and quickly find brand new recommendations and guidelines that somebody shares immediately the day they're posted. And that really helps me to keep everything I do very current, and our students then are exposed to it. And quite frankly, I try to share this with our busy clinicians over in the hospital because they don't have time to delve through the literature because they're so busy with patients all the time. So if I can help to provide some of that information, I want to do that. So I don't have my glasses on. I dropped them on the ground. So hold on while I pick those up. And I see there's a couple messages. I'm going to see if there's a question I can read. So I'm sorry, my age is showing and I'm putting on my glasses here to see if I can. Oh, it's from Data Dude, Chris Taylor. So hi, and it's also Chris Taylor's birthday today. So I want to wish him a very happy birthday. So I know he's crazy busy. So for him to take the time, again, he's been a mentor for me for quite some time. I appreciate that. And Leah's fantastic too. So I do want to mention and close with what I'm currently doing now because I just love the work I do. And I will tell you, I've always loved the work I do. And again, that's another beautiful thing about our profession. I hate when somebody says to me, or I dislike, hate's a strong word, I'm sorry. I dislike when someone says they dislike their job in dietetics because I then have to say to them, well, have you considered getting a new job in dietetics? There are so many jobs in dietetics, and I've had many different jobs, that if you are feeling stagnant or stale in your job, or it's just you're not loving it anymore, then I would highly encourage you to try to find another job in dietetics that speaks to you and you want to advocate for. So back to the research I'm doing now. I've kind of taken it full circle with the bench to bedside to community and beyond, and back to cellular level. I've been conducting garden-based biobehavioral research at the Hope Gardens here at Waterman Farm since 2013. And what started with adult cancer survivors then became interventions adapted to survivors of youth cancer, always with their caregivers, because we know that dietary patterns, exercise patterns, cancer, all the diseases, these are family things, and caregivers need to be attended to sometimes more than our patients sometimes. And then I now am running a trial in the middle of a USDA funded trial for low income, low access youth, 3rd and 4th graders and their caregivers that come out to our intervention at this beautiful 3-acre farm here. And we actually grow the crops, and we grow a bountiful harvest. They get to come out, they get educated by dietitians, they have access to remote medical nutrition therapy informed by motivational interviewing. They get cooking demos straight from our produce from the garden that we align medical center chefs with dietitians, and then they get to take home bags and bags of those recipes, or bags and bags of produce, and get the recipes sent to them and those types of things too. And we have several papers in print or in review right now, and you can read about it. But truly, it is about helping folks to better adhere to the evidence-based guidelines for dietary and physical activity patterns. And in every single trial that we have had since 2013, we have shown significant and clinical improvements in both physical and mental health. So I am truly blessed to be able to facilitate this type of research. We have probably 20 to 30 students who engage in service learning out here every year. And again, it's a way to show dietitians out of the classroom. They're learning next beside horticulture students, when and how to harvest kohlrabi, or when and how to harvest broccoli so you're keeping the plants thriving. And again, I think we need to be better about this in our profession. So the farm is my happy place. Most people know that, and it's just a fantastic place to work, and I feel very blessed to be able to do so. I'll be starting a new trial that just was recently funded, and mum's the word. It hasn't been formally announced yet, but it's going to be on utilizing remote MNT and also providing medically tailored meals to a RCT. It's an RCT for lung cancer patients. So I'm very excited about that, because anything we can do to document the impact of the dietitian on the health and well-being of vulnerable populations specifically is a win for all of us. So we really need to be helping to encourage up and coming students to be embracing this and to track their progress and their impact on their clienteles, because until we have that, we will not get adequate reimbursement for dietitians. So I think that's about all I have to say today. I thank you for your time. I thank you for listening in. And if you're ever in Columbus or coming to Ohio State, get a hold of me, and I would love to come bring you out to the farm and tour you and even let you harvest. So take care and thanks much. Bye.